Savage. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good evening and welcome to episode 479 of Picks and Ponies right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. Can you feel the energy and the excitement? Saratoga is back, baby. The 2026 summer meet starts this weekend, and we are here to cover it like a glove with the Saturday late pick 5, 3 graded stakes with my good friends Pete and Paul. Can't wait to get the show started. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button, the bottom right-hand side of the screen, notification bell on the top right on YouTube, and smash that like button below the video player. We greatly appreciate it. You can listen to us at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor, and you can follow us on X at HHH Racing Pod. Very excited again to talk about the Saratoga meet. We're kicking it off, of course, with our show tonight. Last night, the Pacific Horse Player guys covered tomorrow, Friday, opening day, which, by the way, it is still on. There's some knucklehead idiots on X that are putting out there like just fake accounts saying it's canceled. I hate this crap. I hate to be negative. I'm sure Paul feels the same way. It's just ridiculous. They are on as of now, again, 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. They plan on running. Please make sure you're careful where you get your information. Make sure you get it from a reliable source like Dave Grenning from DRF, for example. And then we just had a show a little while ago with the Bet and Boozing guys covering the Sunday late pick 5. And tonight, of course, is the Saturday late pick 5. We are all about Saratoga this weekend. Let me bring in my fantastic co-hosts to kick off the show. First, of course, I know he's very excited because, as he's always said, a rainy day at Saratoga is still better than a sunny day anywhere else. From the not East Coast of Maryland, from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the Saratoga Special, ready to crank up the meet, Mr. Paul Halloran. And from the East Coast of Maryland, close to Laurel Park, where is officially now a training center, from what I understand, Mr. Pete Visco. Guys, welcome to Saratoga Summer. How are we doing tonight?
Gentlemen, Paul, what's up, my friend?
Hey, Pete, how you doing?
I am fantastic. A little hot, but fantastic.
What's it there? We hit 100 today, yeah.
Oh, I think it says 101, but I didn't see that live. So I saw 98, but it was pretty sticky out there today.
Yeah, 100, yeah.
You guys can handle it. It's actually starting to cool off
how I handle
here.
Stay inside in the air conditioning. That's how I handled it. Yeah.
It's starting to cool off here. That's coming your way. Guys, we got a lot to talk about, of course, the late pick 5 as well. Let me kick off the show with one thing, first of all, that I talked about on Saturday. I just want to thank everyone out there, my wonderful co-hosts and family members, and close to, you guys ready for this? Close to 20,000 fans who watched the show. We had several hundred listen to our show, the Stephen Foster show. I was very privileged to be there, of course, reporting with Noah and Pat. I'm sure you guys had a chance to check out the show, if not live, maybe as a replay, but in real time with the media. Paul, of course, is used to that. I'm getting used to that. But to be able to talk to these guys and ladies, Paul, after the race directly, like immediately after the race in the winner's circle, and get the real-time reaction with the likes of Nicole Russo and, Marcus Hirsch and Ron Flatter, and you're right there in the mix. It's pretty cool, Paul, and it was just a pleasure and honor to do it, and we gave tremendous coverage. I just want to thank our awesome fans for tuning in, Pete and Paul.
Yeah, I watched some. I couldn't watch it live. I was tied up with these 9 All-Star games. I had a run on Saturday and Sunday, but I did watch. I watched some of your pre-Foster stuff, and yeah, the access. That's one thing about covering this game, this sport. Everything being equal, the access is better than literally every other. It used to be like that in pro sports. But now it's all sanitized, press conferences and, no one in the locker room, a limited locker room. And, here the locker room is really the winner's circle, right? And you get them right after the race. And it is one of the joys about covering this sport, which we'll be back at it in a couple of weeks.
And Pete, it feels like horsemen are pretty unfiltered. Like they don't try to hide their emotions. They're pretty straight off the cuff. You know, they're not trying to be overly careful. Like, oh, nice Saratoga spring water. I love it. They're pretty, you know, they're not overly careful with their words. Like they say it how it is. And the access, I'm sure Paul would say it the same way. I mean, very rarely do you get a horseman or woman or trainer or jockey say, no, I won't do an interview. No, I can't do an interview. Like they're very accommodating, even after the race. As far as after they win a $2 million race, they'll be very accommodating.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're talking to the winners, they're usually a little happier and ready to talk. Try finding the one whose horse broke badly out of the gate and ran last, then maybe they're not as chatty as the other ones. But yes, no, but I mean, you say that, but we do get some. There are some trainers who lay the trainer speak on a little thick every once in a while, but
they do.
Maybe not as much right after the race, so you're catching them good. It's more sometimes in those sort of canned interviews where you get the trainer speak.
Well, the racing was great, and I just want to appreciate, you know, send my appreciation and love out to everyone who watched and listened. And we got about 70 or 80 new subscribers, guys. And again, we continue to grow our Power Pick tip sheets. Paul just wrote the first one for tomorrow. Again, the racing is on.
Early, wasn't it, Howard? I got it in early, didn't I?
Look at Paul, you, Paul.
Paul's a good student. Look, he's like beaming tonight, Pete. Look how proud he is.
Well, he's happy. It's Saratoga. He did his work already. He doesn't have to be up till 2 a.m. doing power picks tonight. So he's in a good mood.
I do want to say we do have Delmar Power Pick tip sheets for the next 2 weeks. Those are available if you want Delmar only. That is available the next 2 weeks. Our good friend and excellent handicapper, Noah Maher, our West Coast specialist, will be writing most of those picks. So go to our website. I'm going to sort of cut down on the promotions, Pete. We went a little nuts the last few weeks, but we needed to. But again, the Delmar Power Pick tip sheets are available on our website. We'll promote those guys as we get closer to Delmar, which does not start for another 2 weeks. Go to our great website, hhhracingpodcast.com. 2 other quick announcements about Saratoga that I will make in the middle of the show, guys. Let's just go ahead and jump right in. Late pick 5, Saturday. It's going to be a little bit cooler. Chance of rain. There's always a chance of rain in the Adirondack. Let's just face it. So hopefully there'll be no issues there whatsoever. It starts, guys, the late pick 5 in race 7 on Saturday. Like I said, there are 3 graded stakes, and also, well, actually, I got 3 announcements. Let me write down the other one before I forget. Hold on 1 second. There's 3 things that I want to say later in the show.
Hey, Pete, should we start using, Pete, want to start using cue cards?
Yeah, like, here you go. This is it. Say this next. Howard, say this next.
Belmont Oaks, guys, grade 1. How about late pick 5 kicking off with a grade 1? How about that? Mile and 8th, inner turf. There's 2 different turf courses. I'm going to let Paul talk about those because, again, Paul, we do need to refresh everyone with the different circumferences at Saratoga. $600,000 on the inner turf. This is for the fillies, 3-year-olds. Field of 10. Moorline favorite is the number 8, Abashiri. For Appleby and Buick, there are 2 Euros, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're watching or listening live or replay. 2 Euros scheduled to run in each race of the grade 1s, the Belmont Oaks and the Belmont Derby, which I personally like, guys. It's always refreshing to see some Euros come in, especially Appleby, who has not had as many runners lately, or especially last year, didn't have very many, but he's bringing in more this year. Paul's another good person to talk about that. Let's see where we are going, guys, with our picks to kick off the late pick 5. There we go. Okay. I am going 1, 4, 10. Pete's going 4, 6, 8. And Paul's going 8, 10, 3. Wow, we are all over the map here. Pete, let's start with you. Faithful Departed. Forster and Jose Ortiz, 5-1. Very good win last time with an unbelievable ride by Jose, splitting horses and winning at a pretty good price. And you like her right back again.
Yeah, you know what I liked? I liked her last time a little bit too, and I think we covered that on the show, right? We covered that race, yeah.
Yes.
So the one thing I liked then, and it held last time, and I kind of like it again here, is she's better when she's going at least 8.5, and that's why I was a little comfortable with her going the 9 furlongs last time, and she proved that was actually right up her alley. She came back with a lifetime buyer top, lifetime time form top, and again now we're going the 1 1/8 again, and I think the distance just sort of suits her. And then the other thing I always talk about that I really like is She was in great form, at least from 2 back. She showed the form last time in the regret. Came out of that, had a really nice work on June 20th coming in 47-2. So she's holding that same form. At least that's what I always take from it. Grant Forster's been pretty hot. And again, you mentioned it with Jose. She's now 2 for 2 with Jose up. She gets him again. The only thing was there's not a ton of pace. So, but what I liked last time is it was a shorter field, but she was able to sit at least a little bit closer as opposed to the 2 and 3 back where she was a little further back. So I'm hoping she can do that again, just because, again, yeah, if you look at the time form there is some horses, but like the 1 could get loose, which you're probably going to talk about since you like the 1. There's not a ton of speed here. So I'm just hoping she could sit a trip where she doesn't leave herself just too much to do.
Well, I don't think you want too many other people in the saddle right now other than Jose Ortiz. He's having an eclipse type year. He's winning every big race. One on Magnitude, of course, on Saturday after the horse broke through the gate a little bit. Just an unbelievable effort in the Stephen Foster. I've got her in second. I'm starting to believe in her a little bit, Pete. She sort of beat me last time. I'm not glad her me again this time. She's just improving. I love Yoshida, by the way. Yoshida was one of my favorite turf horses. Very underrated, actually. A little inconsistent, but underrated. Distance is not a problem. She's got transfer form to New York and Saratoga. That's a fair question. But I don't know Grant Forster's numbers at Saratoga. I'm assuming he hasn't run very many. I'm sure Pete can look that up. But
I'll check it.
I've got her in second. Paul, let's go to a horse that I'm completely against, that you have on top, which I love about these shows. Well, before we talk about Abashiri, Paul, very quickly talk about what's right next door to Saratoga that's related to Godolphin, because not everyone knows that, number one. And number two, your opinions on why Appleby is sending perhaps more horses to Saratoga this year as opposed to last year. I know you don't know him personally, but you know Godolphin. So your gut feel on more Applebee's running this summer at Saratoga, and then talk about the facility that is unbelievable right next to Saratoga that not everyone knows.
Yeah, Green Tree, which is a private training facility right off the backside. If you go by Clare Court and go to the end of the backstretch, you will see a private training center. I think it's a good sign. Sometimes I think this is a good spot for Euros to come over with these 2-3-year-old grade 1s, grade 1 races to take a shot at. Anytime Charlie ships, you really do have to, play Jockey Olympics, as we call it. When Buick comes, it's obviously it's a tell, as we say in poker. I thought this was a competitive field, Howard. I'm going to be interested to hear you talk about the 1, because I almost put the 1 in my top 3, and I will be using the 1 as a B. I thought of the Chads. I kind of like the 1. I kind of looked at the field as very competitive. I just think that Irish Guineas field was perhaps a little more top heavy than this field. And while this could be an evenly matched field, I also like the fact that this horse is coming over without a long layoff. A lot of times, and Pete, I know you talk about this a lot, we see Euros come over and we kind of have to guess. It usually doesn't bother them, but sometimes there's a little bit of a guess, right?
Yeah.
How are they going to handle this 3 months or 4 months? This horse is in training. Broker Maiden is a 2-year-old, and right to grade 1. Do not pass go.
No messing around, yeah. And True Love is awesome. Precise is pretty awesome. So it's been knocking heads with big ones.
And that's my point, Pete. And I don't know. You're probably not going to get the value. I mean, I'd certainly take 5-2. But as I say, I wouldn't be singling the horse, but I just think that class-wise, I think this is a very competitive field. I'm not so sure. I see a lot of grade 1 winners in training, so to speak. So I'm going to take a shot with Charlie and William to get the Saratoga year kicked off right.
Not to bring the show to a downer, but I want to mention what Sylvain said. Everyone's sympathies to Maggie Wolfendale, who lost her father today. Yes, our sympathies to Maggie Wolfendale, Howard Wolfendale, one of the best trainers in South Florida for years. unfortunately passed away. Thank you, Sylvain, for mentioning that. That's unfortunate. And our thoughts are with the Wolfendale family. Paul Patane is here. 4-1 on Imagination of the Lady. Never will happen. She's too talented. I love the extra ground. He likes Imagination of the Lady. We got a lot of people in the chat, of course. Ed Burke said both yours have speed. Let me talk about that, Ed, because you're leading me right to what I wanted to talk about. I'm not going to speak for you, Pete. You have this one in third. I think you guys know me pretty well that I'm, when I think Euro is good, I usually pick them. I have some reservations about this one, guys. And of course, I deep dove. Let me just say a few things. First of all, of course, she can win. Obviously, she can win. Buick can be aggressive, guys, which I like. He's not going to be dropping way back out of the back. This horse is tactical. I agree that this horse could be up close. This is a drop down in class. There's no doubt about it. This race used to be, by the way, as you guys know, 1 mile and 3/16. They used to be further, and they made it shorter. I think because they just weren't getting the American fields that they wanted. A lot of American horses were skipping the race. Guys, I watched, actually, I bet the Curra race, and I watched the 1,000 guineas in Newmarket and the Irish 1,000 guineas. I just don't have a feeling she's a 1.8 horse. Now, look, yeah, I'm sure she can get the 1.8 at Saratoga, but she's not like a big striding type, guys. She was losing ground in the stretch in both races. I don't know if you guys watch the replays, but I don't get the feeling this horse wants a 1.8. Now, obviously, Appley knows his horses better than I do. I get it. This is not one of his top ones. He was 8-1 and 6-1. Granted, against Precise and True Love, I understand, but she's going to be what, guys? Let's face it. She's going to be 9-5 in this race. I'm going to use her defensively. I'm not getting a great vibe on her. The other thing, Paul, and I want you to talk about this a little bit, and I might be going completely off the rails here. I'm a little concerned about the heat and humidity. Now, I don't know how long she's been at Green Tree. I'm assuming she's been at Green Tree for who knows how long. But, guys, these Zeros are not used to this kind of heat. When push comes to shove, I have minor concerns about that. But, Pete, more concerns about the distance. Either one of you want to talk about those two factors?
It's funny because I had a note that I thought based solely on the breeding. I agree with you. See, it's hard to know when you say lose ground in the stretch. Was it losing ground or was it just better horses pulling away? And that's a little bit
fair.
hard to judge sometimes. And I'm not even saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's tough when you're facing company like that. And that was a concern. But I thought, at least on a breeding standpoint, it looks like she should be able to stretch out. But again, it's not like every horse bred to go long can go long. Right. So that's not, I had one stat that I wanted to mention. It's not a huge sample size, but it was just interesting to me. Appleby Buick, the combo in the last 18 months. So basically since the start of 2025 is 0 for 9 on the win end, going 9 furlongs and up in either the US or there was a couple Maidan races as well. That was just interesting to me because before that you would have thought, every time, remember, there was a time when every time he was bringing a horse over, it didn't matter where or when or how or the distance or anything, they were winning. And him and Buick as a combo just hasn't been winning in the same fashion. But maybe that'll change now if he's focusing a little more on his horses around here. But that was just interesting to me because we think of them as being so super successful when they come over.
I looked at the breeding. It says she wants to go longer, although Frankel was not really more than a mile, to be honest. But it's Frankel.
Yeah, but his horses do go long, though. Actually, his horses have gone long.
I don't love the visual, but I could be very wrong about this horse. She's gonna be overbet. I don't know. I'll use her.
Here you go, Howard.
See. She galloped out
right
okay.
up your alley, man.
I don't know. She galloped out okay. We'll see, guys. I have some reservation. Let me talk about my top choice. Maybe I'm taking too much of a flyer, guys. Just Aloof is a horse that I've liked for quite a while. I have a feeling she is one that definitely wants to go longer. This is a Justify out of a Galileo mare. She's more one pace, guys. She's not like a wicked turn of foot. And from the rail with Franco, I think she's going to be very aggressive. I think she is going to be on the lead. Chad's not going to mess around in a big race, guys. And I have a feeling this one could upset and wire the field. it's a bit of an all or nothing pick, to be very honest. I thought she ran well with no real excuses against Imagination, the lady, but I don't think she has a wicked turn of foot. I think she's more a little bit grindy, a little more one paced. I think the extra distance is going to do her good. And Pete and Paul, the fact that Chad rested her up for this spot means something to me. And I think it's a good thing that she has not run since Derby weekend. I think she's live at a price, Paul.
I think that's fair, although I don't, I don't think you could be guaranteed that she wants the 1 1/8. I mean, she had no, but she won 1 1/16 and missed by a neck. As far as the Euros, I always believe, almost without exception, if they can always get an extra furlong over here. So that really doesn't, that 1 1/8 doesn't concern me. Does it concern you, Howard, that Chad definitely picks which jockeys go where and Pratt ends up on his other horse?
Hey, Paul, it's funny. It's funny you say that real quick, because I have an interesting stat on the one. I have to poo-poo you real quick, which I love to do. The combo of Chad and Manny Franco in stakes races at Saratoga, 1 for 26 together. Stakes races on turf. My apologies, but again, my concern, Howard, with this one, and maybe it was the distance, and maybe you're right. I didn't like that she just sort of got outkicked in those last two by other horses that are in this race, because I liked her. I want to say maybe 2 back, and was a little disappointed. And then even last time, I think I had her on the ticket, and I just didn't like the getting out kicked. But maybe going longer, maybe she'll be able to sustain longer, and that'll be what helps her late. We don't know until we see it.
Look, I know Pratt was on the 6 and stays on the 6. Guys, Franco is very capable. Like I said, this is not my strongest opinion. It's a bit of a reach. I totally admit that. I said that at the beginning. But no one blows me away here in this race. Now, let's talk about Imagination Lady. You guys think we can move on for the most part. I've got this one third. Paul, you got this one second. Pete actually doesn't have this one at all. So, Pete, I'll let you talk about Fitz right here in a second. This horse is very consistent, the number 10, Imagination Lady. I'm slightly concerned, Paul, not really about the post, but that she's going to have too much to do when it matters. She's going to make a run. Tyler knows her well. She's really honest. She's one of the top of the horses in this division of horses that have been running against each other, like Just Aloof and Faithful Departed, etc. Is she good enough to beat the Euro, and is there enough speed to set it up for her? Those are 2 major questions.
Yeah, I am a little worried about the post, even with a longer run to the turn. I think being that far, if no one scratches, being that far out on the inner, that I'm not thrilled about that. I did still pick the horse second. I think I will. She's just in such good form. 2 bang-up races in a row, and I think both of those races were okay. The $300,000 horse, she's supposed to be good. But, yeah, I am mildly concerned about the post.
That's what knocked me, Paul, because I actually had 4 A's in this race, and she was the 4th. But I thought maybe she just would, the post and just being a little too far back might get her beat. And that's why I thought the other 3 were more likely winners to me. And that's why I put them as my top 3, but I had her sort of even with them.
Pete, why am I Fitz wrong about Fitz right?
I don't know. I'm a left, so I'm a lefty, so I'm more of a Fitz left if we're going to make shitty puns on here. But honestly, this is another one where if you just talk pure form, it's hard to argue with her. She just came back. I mean, she's one of those horses who was, she was so, not even really all that good at 2. She was okay. Yeah. Came back, even the first one back at Tampa, she won by 5. The buyer didn't come back great. So you look at it and go, oh, well, how good really was that? Then she gets a little time off and, man, just came back with 2 sort of monster races. Beat a decent field. It's not like the Wonder again. It wasn't great. It wasn't as good as this field or some of the fields that they faced, but it was okay horses. Time to Dream, who's in this Lion Lake, definitely a step down from these, which is why I thought I'm not sure. She's sort of a wait and see for me, but She gets Pratt again. I had a stat on Pratt and Chad as opposed to the Franco one. They're 5 for 11 wins, 9 for 11 in the money in grade 1 turf routes at Saratoga over the past few years. So when they hook up, they generally, their horses run well. I don't know. She's one of those ones that the time form and the buyer just are steadily improving. Now you don't know where she's going to top out, but she just seems to be getting better and better. I don't know. If somebody in that much form, she'd be hard to leave. She's just hard for me to leave off a ticket if I'm playing just like a straight caveman or something. She's just, because then if you lose to that horse, you're sitting there going, what the hell am I doing? This horse has Pratt. It's Chad. She's in great form. She's a half decent price, and I leave her off the ticket and lose. You know, those are the kind of things that piss you off, especially to kick off a pick 5.
Yeah, it's been a great betting race. Paul, how much do you think we'll move on to the next race and some other announcements. How much do you think the post-time odds matter with these Euros? We didn't even talk about the other one. To me, it doesn't matter as much because I know the 8's going to take money. Like if the 8 is 3-1, that's a fade. If the 8's really live, to me, she's going to be sub her morning line, in my opinion.
Yeah, although I do think it's harder to gauge because, and I don't know, you mentioned about when the horse came over. I mean, typically they don't really come over too much in advance. And
right,
you know, as far as the weather, Howard, up until today, it's been much hotter in England than it has been in Saratoga Springs. So, the legendary heat last week. They had record heat.
Well, I mean, it hasn't been that way all summer. It's just recently they had a little bit of heat wave the last like 2 weeks.
No, I think the other Euro, Donaka O'Brien's horse, maybe will be too far behind, but that's another horse that if the race kind of comes apart a little bit, I think this horse is going to be. I don't think this horse is going to be forward with Rosario, even though the horses run forward.
It's going to be interesting to see. It's a pretty big spread race here to kick off the late pick 5. Let's go to a race that you guys know I'm looking forward to, and anyone that knows me and knows this show, we don't have to show my picks. I think you guys know where I'm going in the Suburban. Let's go ahead and bring it up, though. The Suburban, always one of the excellent older handicap races of the year. It's a grade 2 now, 1.25 miles, $500,000. This is a nice field, guys. Field of 11, especially with the Stephen Foster last week. But this is a pretty darn good field, I think. 11 horses. Morning line favorite in a wide open field is the number 7, Antiquarian for Pletcher and Johnny V. He also has class assist from the inside at 20-1. Let's see where we're going. And wow, okay. I of course am going to Antiquarian. I'm going 7-2-9. Pete's going 7-9-4. Paul's going 7-10-5. So while we do all like Antiquarian, we differ on who will finish underneath. Paul, I can talk about Antiquarian for 5 hours. I'm not going to. I'm going to let you and Pete talk first. If we get 3-1, an irrational, irresponsible wager is coming. I don't think he's going to be 3-1. That being said, his form on paper in his last 2 don't necessarily look great, although he won 2 back, but his buyers don't look that impressive. And I'm just fascinated to see how low he's going to be on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be under 2-1, and I think you might get 5-2. And I might be right with you in the irrational line. I love this horse in this race, and I mean I like I'm not infatuated with the horse like you are, but I do like the horse. Owned by Centennial Farms, about 20 miles up the road here, Ipswich, Massachusetts. The Little family. I just think that. Forget the running line of the Met Mile. This is going to be a completely different race. And this is going to be a race where the uninitiated says after the race, how did that horse win closing when he quit last time? Okay, that's like if you were betting a dog race, you think like that. And I bet 50,000 of them over my life. I just think that this race sets up really well for Antiquarian. I think there's going to be several horses who want to be forward, and I just think that I like the horse. I like the way the race flow is going to go, and I totally don't care about the Met. No one was beating Nisos that day anyway.
Agreed. Name drop, guys. I was at Jeff Ruby's with Noah and Pat on last Saturday, and not only was Junior and his lovely wife and 2 children were there, Paul, and I got to meet also the kid's uncle. So Junior's wife's brother was also there. I'm sure you've met him as well. Anyway, the table over was Castellano and Velasquez, and I went over to Velasquez when he was leaving and introduced myself. I didn't have the guts to ask him about the ride in the cigar because he's only one of the best jockeys ever, and who the hell am I? But Pete, I talked about ad nauseum. I was very upset with that ride. I don't understand what they were doing in that race. And just like Paul said, I think this should set up not only the pace factor will set up better from coming off it, but the distance I think will be more suited for him as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I didn't have him on top as confidently. I sort of was a decision. I know it was a decision right till the end who I sort of liked on top, but I guess I had knocks a little bit, some knocks on all of them that I liked in sort of contention. So, but Time Form did like the last 2 races better than Buyer did. So that's one of those things where we look at it and you go, okay, the Buyers aren't great, but actually the Time Forms look pretty good. So depending on which one you lean to, he should get the better trip. There is enough speed. You showed the Time Form there. Jim Pilar's when Antiquarian's odds drop in half at the gate, it'll be due to HHHs rather than the CAWs. Yeah, that could be. Not sure the HHH crew is running as much money as the CAWs through the windows, but maybe
they shut him off in
NYRA
with 2 minutes. They shut him off with 2 minutes supposed to.
Yeah,
anyway,
I was going to say at least it's NYRA, so we don't have to worry about that as much. He did have a nice work, by the way, coming in. He had the little 48 bullet coming in. So you hope you just get a better trip and a better race this time. But, he's classy. He should.
I have nothing to add. Just Johnny should just be a mid-pack or even further back, make his run. Guys, I'll be very disappointed if you lose this race.
Honestly, if he wants to be like a player in the handicap division, he should beat this field. I mean, that's a given.
He's no cinch, but this is a bit of a make or break for it, isn't it, Pete? Like if he doesn't win, and look, if he gets a 106 and loses, fine. But this is to me like if Pletcher and Johnny V are thinking Breeders' Cup Classic again, he's got to win this race to me.
Yeah,
so
I think so.
I like Antiquarian quite a bit. Let's go to some other horses here. P, you got the 9 in second. I have the 9 in third. I liked Stars and Stripes last time. This is a typical Mott horse, right? Progressive, moving forward. Does he need to step up his game? I have no knocks on him. I guess the only question, maybe the post, and maybe a bigger question, the class. But I think this is a good spot for him. This is not like some kind of killer field.
No, he was funny to me because he had some questions for sure, and it is a big class jump. A couple of things I liked. I think he's another one who could work out a good trip if there is some pace up there. One thing he doesn't do, and the reason why I put him in second, because I almost put him on top, thought he was a decent price at 6. He doesn't fire his best race off the layoff, at least so far. He fires maybe second off the layoff. It happened on debut. He wasn't as good. Then his second one was much better. You see back from November to January. He was okay, came back at Oaklawn and won. So that was my concern, which knocked it back a little bit. The one thing I did like, he's 4 for 4, going 4 for 4 wins, going 9 furlongs and up. So the distance definitely should suit him. It's just the point of whether he's good enough, even though this isn't the greatest field that's ever lived, it's still a class jump for him. And that was my concern. But I think talent-wise, he definitely is in the mix, and we'll see if he could step up.
Original Sin is somewhat similar to Stars and Stripes, Paul. He's run more, but he's a curly. He wants distance. He's won his last 2. I think he would need a complete pace. I shouldn't say complete pace meltdown because he was up close last time, but I feel like things have to go more his way in order to win than maybe a Stars and Stripes. You got him second, and it's Walsh who was on fire, this year in general, and you're going to get a big price on this horse, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you guys on Stars and Stripes. Pete, he's going to be kind of more of a board horse for me. And you mentioned, Howard, we had different horses underneath. I think Asmussen's horse, the 5, Tistastic, is live at a price. And I definitely think this Original Sin is live at a price. Winning, I'm not so sure. Although to your point, there's no murderer's row here. but
No.
I think he's a must use in pretty much all slots. And as you say, the way he's just at a mile and an eighth the last two races. I love the fact that he's won two different ways. Right, he came from sixth, making up a good amount of ground, and then in the blame, Tyler had him forward. And I don't know if that was the plan, but he certainly had him forward the whole time, led most of the race. Hit Show couldn't get to him, so I think this horse is pretty live at a price.
I'm a little surprised you guys don't afford Steel in the mix anywhere. Maybe you do underneath the top three. I realized that Gold Cup was not a very good field. Pete, I think you liked this horse more than I did in the Gold Cup.
I did,
guys.
actually.
I don't know where that last race came from, because he won the last. He won before that, an optional allowance. Guys, he ran a massive race. I mean, it was a fast pace. He was pressured, completely drew off. Now maybe there was no one really running in behind. He's going to get a great chip, either sitting off of Phileas Fogg or having the lead guys. He's improving. He's a 4-year-old. I think he's very live. I want someone who's going to show speed, and this is the one I want. What is it that you guys don't like? Just that last race sort of came out of nowhere and it was out in California, or is it Saffy, New York? I mean, there are a lot of reasons why people cannot like this horse. I get it, but he's on the come and he's improving with inside tactical speed, guys.
Yeah, I had nothing against him, I think, in the end, because he was in contention for me, actually, and he was one of the ones I was considering. I just thought in the end it was the Saffy. Saffy's 2 for 29 in graded stakes on dirt at Saratoga, including losing the last 19 times. Okay. That was one. And then the thing that concerned me was that last race was awesome. The field was garbage, and it was just really bad. It was a small field. And when we talked about the race, we even were like, God, this race kind of stinks. Although he did get,
Pete, he can only beat who can beat. He won by 9, right?
But that's why I just wasn't sure. I'm
sure.
questioned. He got the tongue tie, whatever that means. That was supposedly a big deal for. I don't know what that means in terms of how it helps. Yeah, I don't know what it does, but apparently that was the big thing. That was like, that's the reason why. And
he can't talk smack to the other horses, Pete.
I know. Maybe he just doesn't talk as much.
To pick up a tactical foul.
Maybe people want me to get one. I've been blabbing away.
They should do that in the NBA, shouldn't they? I think that's all the story.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown could have used one. Maybe he'd still be a Celtic if he didn't. If he didn't keep his tongue wagging a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think he's one who could just get on the lead and win, Howard. And you're just completely right, or you're right having him that high up, and then we're like, oh man, this horse is good all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to win, but if he does, I'm not going to be surprised. And I sure as hell will not leave him. Yeah, there you go. From Saffy added tongue tie and said it's going to make this horse faster. He was right. I mean, there's no thanks, Dave Duncan.
I wouldn't leave him off a ticket, of course, because of Pratt and the upside to him.
Fun race, guys. Let's go and move on to the next race. And then I got a few quick announcements. I'm going to move this. We're going to move along a little bit, guys. The next 3 races. Race 9. You see our picks on the bottom of the screen. Another stake race, the Belmont Derby, grade 1, $750,000 is the purse. This is for the boys going 1 mile and 1/8. Again, there are 2 Euros in this race and some familiar faces. Moorline favorite is the number 8 West End Kid for Walden and Tyler G. This horse owes me nothing because he came through for me at the grade 1 gamble and allowed me to have a nice cash that day versus Remember Mamba, the 2 best American horses in this race, along with some very possible good Euros and others. Fun race. And look at this, guys. Wow. Do we like Kobe Bryant? God rest his soul. We are all going with Mamba. We're all going with Remember Mamba. I'm going 398. Pete's going 398. Pete and Paul's going 368. Is there enough speed to set it up? I think there is. I just love the way this horse is running. And last time, Paul lost to the best American 3-year-old in the country right now in stark contrast.
Yes, and I played this horse last time. I was, and he lost convincingly. You were all over stark contrast. That was a great pick by you.
Thank you.
There's no shame. This horse has improved every time out, including that race. Don't get caught up with a horse can't improve if he gets beat. Not to mention the fact that had to come from 12th in a 13-horse field. But Yeah, I just wanted on the record that I did not pick the Godolphin horse. So people who say I picked the Godolphin horse every race, I'd like to document that this race I picked him second. So
Not going to be too far away, right, Paul? He's never too far down the list,
yeah,
though.
but no, I that American Turf, how it seems, it's a grade 1. It should be, but it seems like that race comes up really good every year. I don't know if it's because of the calendar where it sits. It's obviously Derby Day, but yeah, this horse is in raging form. Jose, as you mentioned, Jose, I don't think you say he's an Eclipse contender. If the vote were today, I think he is the Eclipse Award.
Yes.
Winning jockey today. Of course,
Yep.
There's 7 months to go. But yeah, I just think that this horse is going to obviously have no problem with the extra distance. Shouldn't be as far back going the extra distance. And there should be enough to run into. And yeah, I think all systems go for this horse.
Paul, if he's in that spot early, I think you and I and Pete have a good chance to win the 3.
Yeah, that would be good, especially with no one around him,
of course.
which we would like.
Yes. Very good form. I have nothing to add. He needs to get the right trip. Distance shouldn't be a problem. Very minor concern. But Paul, you probably know this better than Pete and myself. Has been training exclusively in Kentucky, has never been in New York, and has never been over either any of the turf services up in New York. Shree knows what she's doing, but I would like to see her up on the Saratoga. Actually, they just opened the turf course on the Saratoga training on the Oklahoma. I would have liked to see her, meaning Cherie, bring him, the horse, up to New York a little bit sooner. But I'm not questioning Cherie. It's just a little preference of mine, Pete. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything
by the
to
way,
add.
she hasn't been very successful in Saratoga, by the way. She's 1 for 24 in greatest stakes on the turf at Saratoga. Yeah. So we're trying to buck that. All 3 of us are trying to buck that trend there.
Right.
So
yeah, I don't think we have much to add on Remember Mama, guys. This horse is very good. Let's talk about our second choice, Pete, and that is Title Roll. I prefer this Simon Crisford trainee, this Euro, much more than Pacific Avenue, who is the 6th, who's the Appleby Buick runner. I like the visual much more on this Too Darn Hot colt for Johnny V. I know that he has not gone the distance, but the way he runs, I don't know if you watched the German 2000 Guineas. I actually watched it as a replay.
Yeah.
And he was getting headed and he just like shook that one off and kept going. It looks to me he's got a long stride, and I have a feeling this 1.8 miles is going to hit him right between the eyes. He was awesome in Maidan. I think this is an up-and-comer. I like this spot. I'm a little worried about the distance, but I do like Johnny V on him as opposed to a Euro jockey, although the Euro jockeys are very capable. I just think Saratoga can be quirky, Pete, and I prefer, other than Buick, I do prefer an American rider on the Euros. That's what we have a Title Roll.
Yeah, no, I could see that. Yeah, I watched that one. I actually watched the race with Title Roll and Pacific Avenue 3 back.
I did too.
I don't want to try and pronounce that 2000 Guineas, but I thought between the two, at least just going by that race, I just liked the way he finished much better and thought the distance would be more up his. I mean, again, he's only gone as long as a mile, so we're never going to know until they do it. He has also won a couple times left-handed, which you like to see. I just thought there was a lot to like for him.
Sorry, the Dams PPs are on the screen. And I know people might say, well, Howard, you didn't like the other Euro before. But this Euro, I like the visual more on this horse than the Euro in race 7. Again, I could be completely wrong. What is it, Abashiri, whatever the 8 is. This one looks like the one we're talking about, looks more long-winded and longer stride to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like the way he ran. Yeah, and I think the breeding suggests that the stretch out shouldn't be a problem. Yep. Plus, if you listen to Paul, which I agree with, they usually can get the extra furlong when they come over. So between that and the breeding, I'm not overly concerned, but you never know till they do it.
Paul, I want to hear about Pacific Avenue because you have this one second. I will say in his defense in the Irish Guineas, the Group 1 against Gstaad, he got a weird ride. He was like wide in the middle of like nowhere, uncovered. It was a strange ride. I don't like the ride, but I still don't necessarily think I think he's classy enough, but I feel the same way about Pacific Avenue as I feel about the filly in race 7, but even stronger opinion that I don't like this one. But Buick is a major upgrade. Again, you have to watch the replay because he was uncovered in the middle of nowhere and still sort of stayed on okay against a very, very talented horse in Gestalt.
I just think it's a clear anti-Godolphin bias you have tonight, Howard. That's all.
Yeah, I hate that. I was so much against sovereignty last week. Remember?
No, again, I didn't. Me not picking him on top will tell you something. But
Okay.
but then you look at within 4 lengths of Gestad, and I think Gestad might be okay in this race. Had Mr. Aiden put him on a plane. And the other thing about this horse is he does show up every time, right? And same argument on the distance. Pete referenced it again. It is speculation, but in these 3-year-old races, when they're going out to 1 1/8 miles, it's speculation for more than half the field typically, right? In the Philly race, I think only 3 of them Pete had run it before.
Yeah.
And if you look at this race, one of them, 2 of them.
Yeah,
same
remember
thing.
Mamba was
3
the
out
one.
of the
Remember
10.
Mamba debuted. That was what was interesting to me. Debuted at 9, which is interesting. So yeah, you're
very
right.
interesting. And that you don't know if that was just because Cherie needed to get a race into him,
Yeah,
or she
you
just
never
knew
know.
that
Yeah.
this is going to be a distance horse all day.
I don't know where stark contrast is because Mark Hoft, Mark, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I don't know what the deal is because I thought he'd be in this race. Maybe they're going to the Del Mar opening. The Oceanside, I think, is the opening race, stake. But why would he go a mile and why would he race for much less of a purse? Jackson Muniz, I believe, told me that there might be a bit of an issue with him, like he might be a little bit injured or something. I don't know. I'm just weird.
If he's not in this race, he's got to be almost. They're not going to Del Mar over this race. That would be insanity.
Yeah, you would think so.
Unless they needed the extra 2 weeks.
I don't know, but why? I mean, he last time he ran was Derby Day, right?
Oh, he ran you? Yeah. No, I'm just saying, unless if there was something going on and he wasn't going to make this race,
I understood.
Then Del Mar, but choosing. I mean, they say Del Mar opening day is great, but
he hasn't worked. I just looked it up. He hasn't worked since the 19th of June either. So maybe there's a little something that just knocked him off his schedule.
Well, that's only missing a week though.
Oh wait, what are we? No, it's only July. My bad. I was thinking we're further.
That's
usually
right.
once a week though.
Yeah. No, you're right. I just I was looking at the calendar wrong, like an idiot.
Guys, I don't think any of us have anything against West End Kid. I don't know if he's quite this good, but he's a really cool horse who is just as honest as the day is long and just keeps getting better. For me, this might be a slight bit too much against some of these others. What say you guys? We got to move on to the next race.
Well, if I could just talk this, there's always a story. So the owner, Most Speed Racing, is Scott Mawaka, and he told his father, "I'm going to let you name a horse." And the father grew up in the West End of Chicopee, Massachusetts. It always comes back to Massachusetts,
of course.
And he grew up in the West End of Chicopee. So I was with them after I covered that last race. I kind of agree with you, Howard. I think this might be a little bit of a leap, but the horse is in really good form, and Will Walden does not make a lot of bad decisions. I just don't know if I want this horse as almost or the favorite in the race, but neat story.
Very cool. All right, guys, let's get on to the last 2 races, but very quickly, I got a few quick announcements I want to make, and then we will talk about the last 2. First of all, 30, what is
3
that?
announcements. You have 3 announcents.
Oh, 3 announcements. All right, number 1.
I thought you were talking about Larry Bird for a minute there, Paul. I thought you were going back.
We didn't trade him.
Saturday, guys, Weekend Warriors. As of right now, it's just me. You want to be a co-host? Send me an email. I'm looking for a co-host. As of right now, it's just me, Weekend Warriors. We're just going to cover these 3 races we just went over, guys. Race 7, 8, 9. Actually, I have a banner for it. Sorry. 3:45 to 5:30 Eastern. I'm only half joking, by the way, about the co-host that's at the top of the screen. If you're interested, and I know you, send me an email and or text me, and maybe we'll get you on. But 3:45 to 5:30, just races 7 through 9, guys. I'll be on talking about these 3 stake races we just covered, contest play, whatnot. Weekend Warriors, please join me and who knows who else. Check it out. Number 1. Number 2, Paul, a large amount of HHH Racing Podcast crew will be at Saratoga. And while we're there, what is happening, Paul, for you?
July 17th, come by the Jockey Silks room on your way into the track, and I will be signing the Cody's Wish book. So I hope to see not only our crew, but some other people. But I know if sales are slow, Matt Miller will just buy some and hand them out and demand that people get in line to be signed. So that
sounds about right.
So yeah, we'll be there for before the races on July 17th. So we hope to see some HHH people out there.
There you go. That's Friday, July 17th. Check out Paul and his book. And then I always sent an email, but for people that are not on our email list, not every staff member or family member, but many people will be there Thursday, July 16th through Sunday, July 19th, 2 weeks. So we're going to be there in 2 weeks. A lot of us in our typical spot in the gazebos. We're off the first turn in the 1863 club. If you are going to be at Saratoga, send us a DM or whatever. If you are not have access to 1863, as you know this, Paul, we're going to have a meet and greet Saturday, half an hour before race 1. So half an hour before race 1 on Saturday, July 18th in the Jim Dandy Bar. The Jim Dandy Bar off the clubhouse on the first floor, half an hour before race 1. Our whole crew will be there for a meet and greet. We'll get you a beverage, say hello, talk ponies, talk life. Again, 2 weeks, the HHH Racing Podcast will be at Saratoga for the races. Very exciting, guys. All right, there we go. That was the 3 announcements. Race 10, let's go to it, guys. Optional allowance, 110,000. They're coming out of the Wilson Chute. Field of 10. Nice allowance field, full screen, the number 3. A soft 7-2 favorite for Safi and Jose. I'm going 387. Pete's going 378. Paul's going 784. Paul, you have an idea, a capital idea. Mott, Alvarado, 4-1. You're the outlier from Pete and myself.
Yeah, well, I will say that I did not have a strong feeling on this race. I agree with you. I think it's a pretty competitive race, but I think sequence-wise, this is a pretty tough penultimate leg if you're playing the Big Five, unless you have a strong opinion. I thought this horse ran. Excuse me. Buyers went down. The buyer went down a little bit last time. I'm pretty sure that was in relation to the distance going up. I think this horse, you could just see from the stats, this is more of a mile, 7 furlong mile and a 16th horse. Plus that Blame field was, we just talked about Original Sin maybe having a shot in the Suburban, right? And Hit Show won the race in Dubai, right, last year. So, I mean, that was a much tougher race than this. This horse was 2 lengths off of that. It's Mod, it's Junior. I think the horse is versatile as far as where Junior wants to put him, which comes in handy in that kind of 1.5-ish turn race. So I think he's as good or better than any of them.
He's definitely got a shot. He's one of the ones I'm using. By the way, Terry Frank mentioned, Jackson's going to have Andy Serling on Saturday with Talking Horses. Very cool. Happy for Jackson. That'll be his second appearance on Talking Horses. So happy for Jackson. He works now at NYRA. Very cool. I'm definitely using this one, Pete, but I have a pretty strong opinion here. It's not going to be single, but I do like full screen quite a bit. I know he's 7, but he got really good over the winter. I thought he got a bit of a passive ride last time. I think a mile is fine. He gets Jose. Nothing wrong with Franco, but he's coming off a bull at work. He's going to just stalk Tarantino. Tarantino is going to lead, but full screen figures to get a good trip here. He's classy and just very logical to me, although he would not be a single.
No, yeah, I really like him too. I like the switch to Jose. Again, we were talking about how great he's been riding. The 0 for 9 going 8 furlongs isn't the best thing I've ever seen, but it's still fair. 7 for 9 hitting the board. So it's not like he doesn't like the distance. He just hasn't been able to win. the other thing I liked, he doesn't run great first off a layoff and generally, and now he's second off, so you expect improvement. And if we can, honestly, if we can just get back to the races 2 and 3 back, now they were going 9 furlongs, so maybe he likes a little more distance. But if we can run one of those 2 races, I think he wins. I think he wins pretty easily. So I'm just looking at it more from a upside play based on. But again, at 7, you never know if he can reach back and get to that level again. We'll see.
Yeah, he's definitely better second out, but then again, he was claimed. So, I don't know if Cox was pointing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Saratoga.
Yeah, it's hard. But Safi, Safi
right?
gets him in the barn. He's pretty good. Yeah, it is weird, but maybe he just needs a little bit of time. I don't know, but I like the horse, though. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Bramido also's got a shot, guys. The 8. Paul, you got this one second. Running very good numbers. He's 3 for 6 of the distance. Slightly concerned about the post here, but Santana's going to get him up close. This is a very competitive race with some. If this was a grade 4 race, Paul, I think that'd be appropriately designated.
It's a good race. I agree with you.
Yeah, Bramido's definitely got a shot.
This is a great sequence, man. This was
really good.
I thought this was just
Saratoga,
5.
baby. Let's go.
Well, but sometimes at Saratoga on the Saturday, you get a couple of the races in the sequence that have sort of really logical winners. Yeah. I thought all 5 of these you could look at as a spread race, depending upon if you really had a strong opinion. I thought any of the 5 could be pretty spready if you really wanted to.
It's not easy. There's Jeff Tyler again. The 3 is 0 for 9. Yes, but 7 seconds and thirds.
Yeah.
Again, Safi's training, that could change. But you're exactly right.
Safi's really good off the claim, by the way. He's
very
about
good.
28% off the claim, so he should have the horse sharp.
But Jeff, it's a very astute point. I mean, you're exactly right. So, we shall see. Last race, guys. By the way, a few people mentioned Hit Show in the Suburban. I don't like Hit Show at all. If that horse wins, I will be semi-shocked. I know he did have legit trouble last time, by the way, Hit Show. There's no doubt he had trouble last time. I just don't think he's that good. I know he won overseas, but that Dubai win was just an awful Dubai race. One of the worst Dubai World Cups they've ever had. I don't like him. But anyway, just want to mention that. I'm sure I just put him in the winner's circle. Last race, guys, of the day, and then we've got a rant from Paul and a mini rant from me. This is a New York bred main special weight, 100,000 miles 16th on the inner turf. Fillies, 3-year-olds, and a field of 11 with an MTO that hopefully we don't need. More line favors all the way on the outside. The Chad Brown trained Silly Season with Flavian at 2-1, which seems awfully low to me. I'm going 3-1-11. Pete's going 11-1-3. Paul's going 3-11-1. How about that, guys? Same 3 horses in different order. The 3 is the first-time starter. The 1 has speed on the inside that has proven form, and the 11 is coming off a layoff that ran pretty well first time out. Pete, talk about Silly Season.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly, I'm not exactly breaking ground here, but ran well in the November start and debut, hit the gate, lunged a bit, hit the gate, and still was just running on best late. Yeah, if you want to show what's going on there. But
the 5 in this race.
Yeah, we could watch you could see there just sort of
a little slow,
took back a little bit, slow, was back. I mean, wasn't like in last or anything, but still had to make up ground. And any time you have a little bit of trouble on debut, you never know how a horse is going to react. And she reacted pretty well. Gets Pratt again. The layoff is a question. The last work was decent enough to where should be sharp at this point. Did run the 8.5, so debuted at 8.5, which I like. So we know it didn't debut sprinting or anything. So we debuted this horse going long. And I have a very specific Chad Brown stat, but it was sort of crazy. And the sample size, I don't have the number, but it was not small. He's 40% win, 71% in the money with second-time starters who've hit the board on their debut but don't win in maiden special weight turf routes. And again, it wasn't like 10 starts. It was in the 30s or 40s or something. So Chad is one of those. But again, it's a weird one because it's 6 months in between the first and second start, or actually 7 months, I should say. So who knows how that's going to run, but I don't know. Seems pretty logical to me. But
well, Pete, he just might not wanted to take the horse to Florida. So New York, there's no turf racing in New York after
exactly
that time. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, he just maybe didn't want to take it anywhere.
Next year, she can run in the Tapeta.
But still, with breaking out of the 11 with a horse that hopefully breaks well and doesn't just get stuck too far back with a lot to do. I guess that would be the concern if this horse is under 2-1 would be my concern.
Paul, you stole my thunders. Larry Goichman is the owner, the popular guy in New York. I don't like that she didn't debut until late in the 2-year-old year, guys. And I don't mind the layoff. As Paul said, there's no New York turf racing really until Aqueduct. And maybe Chad just wanted to save this good one for Saratoga for the standings and everything. I don't know. I don't think she's a superstar, but you don't have to be in this race. Let's see here. Let's talk about the 3. I'm curious to see how much money this horse takes. Lynn's Legacy's got a lot of breeding for Miguel, and Miguel's very good first time out. I love the bullet works, and Miguel does not work fast. Okay. For this horse to have I know it's only best of 6, whatever. The horse obviously got some talent. Lynn B, the dam, won for his father, Christoph. Actually, finished second. Right, second. But the siblings were very good. You can see 3 for 9, won 195,000. This is a full to National Archive. This horse that we know, guys, has been running recently. Just ran in the Mount Vernon. Is a little bit long-winded. He's not like a superstar, but is a nice horse. And it's not a full. Sorry, it's not a full. It's a half to National Archive. A New York bred. I just have a feeling this horse can run, Paul. You and I both agree. The 11's probably the horse to beat, but if this one is sub 5, if this one needs to be sub 5-1, if this one is 4-1 or less, look out.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the board will and I have a feeling that she's going to be more closer to 3-1 than 5-1. Which actually, if I'm betting the horse and using the horse, I kind of want to see that.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Obviously, for all the reasons you said. He had a sibling with 3 wins on turf, and that was the only start for the dam by the venerable Medaglia d'Oro, just recently retired, living out the good life at John Abel Farm, across the hall from Cody's Wish, down the hall from Street Sense. I just think this horse is live, but we're talking about horizontals, Pete. I'd like to be more than 1 or 2 deep here, if you don't mind.
I do not. I'm not trying to go skinny to close this thing out, Paul. I'm with you.
I am on Friday. Tip, that's a preview for all you who are anxiously awaiting your Saratoga power picks.
You're going oh, geez, sorry. Croatia just scored in the 102nd minute to tie it up.
Wow.
Portugal scored in like the 97th
the extra
minute.
Time. Extra time.
Portugal scored in the 97th, and then Croatia just scored, and it was basically they had 10 minutes of extra time, so they're over.
Yeah. I like that. They should do that in other sports, like in the NBA. They should just say, screw it, let's play 3 extra minutes.
Hey, Paul, there's a couple times I'd like my horse to maybe say, let's go past the gate or past the wire. See if
Pete, a lot of the ones I bet do take extra time.
They do. They take extra time. I just like to just run around until that one gets the lead. I don't know when it's going to happen.
This is a good race, though. I'll tell you, you're right on target, Pete. And I obviously had to do the sequence for tomorrow, which value-wise, this pick 5 is going to pay a minimum of 3 times as much as the Friday pick 5.
Morning Prayer is the one we probably want of the experienced ones, other than Silly Season. And she'll probably on the lead, guys. My problem is she was 16-1 last time, and I don't think she's as talented, but she might trip out, right? Like if the 11's wide and 3 isn't ready. This one's logical, just not. I think I would use this as the 3rd of the 3, but it would scare the hell out of if I was live in pick 5, it didn't have the 1, I'd be a little bit worried. Frankly.
Yeah, because remember 11 last time and now the 1 on the inner, and Santana is going to be aggressive. Santana rides Saratoga very well, by the way.
Very well.
Check his stats up there. So I'm going to have this horse as a B. I think, Howard, just for what you just said. And if you any reason you're alive and you don't have this horse, you gotta place a win wager on this horse for insanity insurance.
Really fun sequence, guys. It's going to be very difficult. We're not quite done yet because it's been a little bit while, but it's now time for one of our favorite segments on Picks and Ponies, Paul's Rant of the Week.
Yeah,
Paul, full screen for you, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to bounce around a little bit, but I want to talk about a few different things, but I won't be long. Monmouth has had a really tough time. Monmouth had a really good day yesterday. NYRA Bets is alive in New Jersey. People in New Jersey have been held hostage with only one ADW option, I believe. NYRA Bets is alive in New Jersey as of, I think, yesterday. And the governor came through with $5 million. So, and speaking of NYRA Bets, Howard, and I want to tie this into the whole CAW thing that we probably don't talk about as much as everyone else because everyone else talks about it ad nauseum. But, NYRA really is trying. You mentioned it, Howard, in passing, that they are shutting the CAWs out with 2 minutes to post. Make no mistake, that is costing them a shitload of money. Now, you'll have to look up. That's a very technical term. Shitload. That's a lot. I really wish other tracks would follow suit. There are other tracks that we love that have not been willing to make that leap. But I really do think that, we don't have to tell people to bet Saratoga, right? They're going to bet Saratoga. But I do think we have to somehow reward NYRA for being willing to look out for the good of the game. And, NYRA's got their flaws, like everyone else. And lastly, speaking of ADWs, and, Howard, you had a very, very nice tweet, I think it was yesterday, about, all the FanDuel people that are out of business as of whatever it was 2 days ago. Let me just make it clear to you. Don't bet effing horses on FanDuel, okay? Don't bet a goddamn penny on FanDuel for what they did to horse racing with this decision. You can bet Twin Spires. You can bet NYRA Bets. You can bet Express Bet. You can bet First Bet. You can bet Second Bet. You can bet Third Bet. Don't bet a goddamn penny on FanDuel for what they have done to this game with that decision. That's all.
I closed my FanDuel account about a month ago, a few weeks ago. So I hear you. All. Wow. My very short. Well, Pete, do you want to respond, and then I'll give a very short.
They're all good. I agree with everything Paul said. Although
Pete likes it when I get pissed.
I like when you curse. I like when you get pissed. That's all my favorite things in the world. Although I still do use FanDuel for sports betting. So I
went to DraftKings, Pete, just for that reason.
I use whatever. Yeah, it's on my first page, so I grab that one first. But I'll also have to switch to DraftKings. I have all of them. So
there you go.
Not only that, our good friend Jackson, of course, is in charge of one of the people in charge of contests, and NYRA's expanding their contests. I know that we have a sponsorship with Twin Spires, and we love them, and blah blah blah. We talked about their contests ad nauseam, but the contest tent can be nice and large, and
no doubt.
Actually, there's a contest this Saturday, guys, through Twin Spires that is at Saratoga. It's like only Saratoga races through Twin Spires. Then NYRA Bets is amping up their contest play as well, thanks to one person or many people, but Jackson would be one of them. So go check that out. I have one very quick rant, guys. It has nothing to do with horse racing, but it happened to me 3 times today. And I know I'm speaking to the choir. Ladies and gentlemen, when they build automobiles way back in the day, and I don't know when they started this particular aspect of a car, there's a reason for it. Can we please use what's called a turn signal? It is there for a reason. Don't just slow down out of nowhere without any hazards or turn signal on and make the people behind you slam on their brakes wondering what the F is going on. Use your gosh darn turn signals, people. That's why they're there. All you got to do is take your right hand, probably your right hand, and just move it down or move it up. That's all. Pete, your son is going to be driving not too, relatively soon, actually. Please teach him that there is something called a turn signal. And it's very dangerous when you don't use it. It's really starting to aggravate me.
If you don't have a signal, you can put it out the window, Pete, right?
Do this.
Straight ahead for right.
Yeah.
We're not
and
riding a
left.
bike. You have a car. You don't need to use your arms. I mean, come on.
Trust me, Howard. Jackson knows, because whenever somebody does that in front of me, there's a lot of F words that come out of my mouth. So he knows I'm not a fan of the no turn signal. So I try and
really.
teach him already. Yeah.
Anyway,
I agree with that one. That's people suck at that, or they do it like a half a second before the turn. I'm like, thanks. Yeah, thanks. These
are not distracted drivers. That's a whole other issue, because every time I drive by and put up my pinky finger as I drive by them, they're not on their phone. They're just idiotic, lazy idiots.
Yeah. They're betting. You know what they are? They're betting horse races on FanDuel.
That could be true. Guys, a lot of fun. Saratoga opening meet. Again, Paul's got a book signing on July 17th. That's a Friday. Most of our crew will be there in 2 weeks, from Thursday to Sunday, with a Saturday before first post. That Saturday, the 18th of July, in the Jim Dandy Bar. So join us if you're going to be at Saratoga. And then this Saturday, the first 3 races we talked about, all stake races, 3:45 to 5:30 Eastern. I'll be hosting with who knows who else. Weekend Warriors live conversation, so I can cheer on and yell like a knucklehead when Antiquarian wins. That I'm hoping around 2-1, and I have X amount of money and make up for last weekend's complete disaster. For my wonderful friends and co-hosts, Pete Visco and Paul Howard, and this has been your host, Howard Kravis, episode 479, getting close to 500 of Picks and Ponies. By the way, on behalf of everyone, happy birthday to America. Happy 250th. Please stay safe. If you're on the East Coast, stay cool. Enjoy the fireworks, the family, the food, and the fun. Crush your bets at Saratoga this Saturday. Take care. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.